introduce yourself.
My name is Princess Mthombeni. Many people call me Princey. I am the founder of Africa for Nuclear, which is an advocacy campaign that promotes nuclear as a contributor to achieving Africa's agenda for sustainable development.
Please try to look at me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it is good.
Oh, okay, all right.
The first question, as a communication specialist in the nuclear industry, how do you navigate the public perception challenges that come with promoting nuclear energy, especially in Africa?
The challenges that come with promoting nuclear energy, not just in Africa but globally, is the anti-nuclear lobbyists, people who are really funded to decampaign nuclear. So that's the main challenge. And the second challenge, which is mostly the political will which lacks in our governments, and mainly due to political landscape changing all the time. Like we are seeing now, the Americans have just elected another president who at least is pro-nuclear. But I think those are two challenges, and in order to navigate them as the nuclear industry, we need to continue with conversations, number one, and in educating people the real benefit of having nuclear energy in countries, especially in Africa, where really which is a dark continent. And if you come as a nuclear person and tell people that nuclear will help light up the continent, and they are prepared to listen. And most importantly, the people that we need to reach out to are young people, and that's where you need to include things such as Internet of Things and the digitalization, because that's the only language that they understand. So that's how I try to navigate those challenges.
Thank you. Please tell me, Africa is rich in renewable energy potential, yet nuclear energy often faces resistance. What do you believe is the ultimate role of nuclear energy in Africa's energy future?
Please repeat the question. What do I believe is?
What do you believe is the ultimate role of nuclear energy in Africa's energy future?
Certainly, the ultimate role of nuclear energy is to solve, number one, the energy poverty, and also to mitigate climate change, because you cannot discuss the future of energy in Africa without mentioning nuclear. And we just discussed the tripling of nuclear energy capacity in our panel here, and those are things that you really cannot discuss without mentioning the nuclear as a technology. It has been said in many studies, like the United Nations study that was done in Europe, that the tripling of nuclear energy capacity by 2050 will be almost impossible without the inclusion of nuclear energy. And Africa, as the dark continent that it is, we don't even need to triple. We need to start from scratch. And starting from scratch, it means doing things right. And doing things right means incorporating nuclear as part of the energy mix.
Thank you. Next question, how do you encourage young women to pursue careers in nuclear science and energy, particularly through initiatives like the African Young Generation in Nuclear, AUGN?
Okay. Before we even encourage young people to pursue careers in the nuclear industry, we need to start by persuading our governments to start building nuclear plants. You see, when a decision is made to build, you'll see young people flocking the industry and going to study those careers. So we need to be fair in speaking to young people, because you cannot invite them to nowhere. The governments need to take leadership and build those nuclear plants, and young people will automatically join the industry.
Thank you. What has been your broadest achievement in leading the stand-up for nuclear movement, and how has it shaped the global narrative on nuclear energy?
The biggest achievement was when we did it in 2022. We planned Stand Up for Nuclear in 3 cities. in South Africa: Cape Town, Pretoria, and the Eastern Cape. Those are 3 provinces concurrently. So that was the biggest achievement. And in Pretoria alone, we hosted over 200 people, particularly students, young people. So that was the biggest achievement. The second achievement, we are going to host a Stand Up for Nuclear in 2 weeks' time, which will be attended by the Minister of Electricity and Energy for the very first time. So the government has bought into the idea of standing up for nuclear in South Africa.
Thank you. Can you share your vision for Africa for nuclear over the next decade and its impact on Africa's energy transition?
The vision for Africa for nuclear is to see an African continent where nuclear plays a big role in sustainable development and building the Africa that as African we say we want. So that's how I envision the Africa for Nuclear's role on African continent. I always say to people, for me to say I have achieved what I want to achieve as a nuclear advocate through Africa for Nuclear is when I see the first concrete being poured in at least few countries where a decision has been made in building nuclear power plants.
Thank you. The last question, please. At COP29, what message would you like to bring to the international community regarding nuclear energy's role in mitigating climate change and achieving global sustainability goals?
You know, what I want to see happening at COP29, especially regarding nuclear, I want to hear the IMF and the World Bank taking a decision to lift the ban on nuclear energy, because that's what we need. We cannot live in a world where the banks are only financing renewable energy projects, which will not take us anywhere as the